Hey people, what's up? It's Jerry from Rauta channel and it's Sunday's workout video or topics related to workout anyway. Now, some of you have been asking me about what kind of supplements I do use with programs that I do, with workout that I do and so forth. And some of you have just commented various comments and I'll try to get back to those topics you address every now and then. I also wanted to include a couple of videos in the end of this session, so it's not just talking head and all that stuff, but also something to see. I'll promise you a kind of a personal best, one of my best lifts ever in the ending, not in the beginning, and I hope you that will keep you inspired by lifting altogether. But the things you've been asking about supplements is like what do I use? Which kind of stuff is advised to be used in general? Whether it's about a very novice lifter, a new one to the game, so to speak, or somewhat seasoned veteran, if you will. Now, I guess mainly veteran and rather experienced lifters already have their shit together. So I don't think I'm in position to really tell you what you should be using if you're more experienced or maybe not as even as experienced lifter as I am. I mean, once again, I'm not a pro. I'm merely a hobbyist, if you will. And even so, I have never taken these advice from, personal, what do you call them? Personal trainers and whatever. I have never had a coach, if you will. I mean, obviously I have done some online research, if you will, and by that I mean I have read a couple of books obviously related to lifting, but they're more about lifting rather than eating or taking supplements. I have read countless of articles related to those, but once again they're more about techniques and programs, not so much about proper eating, proper use of supplements and all that stuff. Now, obviously, during the years, some things, because having talked with like-minded people who also train, who are more experienced, some are less experienced, but overall, talking about, obviously, you exchange information every now and then with people who also lift. You are probably one of those who read interesting blogs or articles from various websites dedicated to training and working out. And it pretty much doesn't matter whether we're talking about so-called bro science, basically nothing that is scientifically proven, but what bros at the gym know, that what kind of stuff works for you and what kind of doesn't. I mean, most people get to the very same kind of conclusions. They're eating more than you consume. That's how you kind of bulk. And also, you don't want to have excessive amounts of fat, especially if you try to, stay lean. Now, obviously, it once again depends whether you are a power lifter, whether you are a strongman competitor, whether you're bodybuilding or just general fitness person. It all comes down to whatever your goals are. So you can't take these rules or rules of thumb beyond that, because whatever your goal is kind of defines what you need to do. For example, a lot of powerlifters, especially in the heavier series or classes, they are big and bulky and they don't mind having extra fat because it's more about the certain weight class, not about being lean or looking good at the beach. So once again, it's very, very different than being a bodybuilder, competition shape or whatever. But in general, the certain kind of basic rules apply to everybody, and that means you need to have a lot of protein in order to build your muscle. You need to have. This is more about, some people like to argue about it, but in general, you need to have enough carbs so you have your muscles ready for those lifting sessions. And of course, you need certain amount of fat in order to keep your body going. So you can't just, remove any of these elements from your basic diet. You need to have all of them, but in moderate amounts, obviously. And usually people talk about how much protein is needed and what kind of amounts of protein we're talking about, which leads to the most general thing related to supplements, and that is protein. Protein comes in many shapes and many forms. I'm not going to go into details. There are a lot more people who can go more deeper and who are actual experts on the topic of supplements and diets. But whey powder is very, very common because it's basically a dairy product extract. It's relatively cheap. Most people, it's very healthy. That is not causing any kind of problems, but some people might have problems with their stomach and all because of whey. So that is the kind of a basic thing you want to have in order to make sure that you have enough protein intake. Besides whatever protein you're eating, fish, meat, or vegan-based protein, that doesn't probably matter too much, especially if you're not competing. But whey powder is very, very good in that respect. Of course, if you're vegan, you need to have your other sources, and then it becomes more complex and probably more expensive as well. You need to do your own research regarding that. I'm no expert in anything, and even less with vegan dietary things and supplements. Now, the second thing, which is more often than not recommended for people who want to get some muscle and who want to make sure that they get everything out of their training, is creatine. Creatine is a kind of something that is now being researched very, very thoroughly these days, and it's being proven scientifically that it helps you to, pack some more muscle, because it actually, supports the mechanisms, building up. So it's something that our body has or makes by its own, but it's something that really helps if you just take it. And it's been proven to be healthy as well. Now, there used to be this kind of idea that you should take it only for a few weeks and then take a few weeks off, which would make your body go like this, packing more weight and then just losing it. But I don't know if that's really accurate anymore. Once again, if you want to read more about it, there are better people to talk about it. But that is like the number two thing. Then there are BCAA, which is amino acids, kind of supplements, which I use time to time. Whenever I don't have enough time to eat properly before my workout, I have some pre-workout powders, which then again is used some 30-60 minutes prior to the working out session. And those include a multitude different supplementary ingredients, and they might give you a weird tingly feeling, like, because those ingredients are going to your body and kind of wake it up, including caffeine and stuff like that. Talking of which, I think one of the main things which I definitely want to include in my training, but which is not technically speaking a supplement, is use of coffee, because it's really refreshing, and caffeine kind of boosts you up. Different way than pure energy, which then again is something that you probably want to take out of carbohydrates or carbs. But yeah, caffeine is something. In case you don't drink coffee, well, caffeine tablets are one possibility, but I think those pre-workout powders are already taking care of that side. Now, if I have a lengthier session and I think I need some extra boost, I sometimes use those powders which are meant to be used like that is during those workout sessions. Some of them, for example, are these BCAA powders. So they're kind of meant to be used either during the workout or right after that one. But for me, I usually use them during the workout, and after workout I have those carbs and whey powder, which I then just mix with creatine and make it as my post-workout set. And that is very important, especially for me, because it's not like I can read right away, right the very second I end up doing my workout. It's not like I can just head for a pizza or burger or for some healthy version. I usually need some hour or two to just kind of calm down. Usually it includes, driving back to home, taking a shower, and then preparing my meal, whatever it is, most likely a dinner. So during that time, that hour or two, I kind of need to have some nutrition to go on after my workout. So for me especially, that kind of a post-workout thing is very, very mandatory. Now bear in mind, if you're a novice or if you don't compete, None of these are actually mandatory to have. They just help you out, but I think mentally and physically. But like I said, they're not mandatory. It all comes down to the very one thing, and that is how much you want to demand of yourself, how much you want to push yourself, what kind of results you want to. The older you are, the more need you kind of basically need to have. So this all once again comes down whatever is your goal, how old are you, how serious you are with lifting. I mean, no two lifters are the same basically. So say you have this 18-year-old kid who just started a couple of months ago. The world is very, very different from that perspective and for that person versus someone like me who is almost 46 years of age, and I'm not on the top of my game anymore. I mean, technically speaking, for my game, that's where I am, top of my game, just having my new deadlift record and all. But I mean, when you're 46, it's not likely to, be this world record breaking person. Those are in their 30s most likely, give or take. So it all comes down to the very thing, whatever you are doing. If you're, for example, a general athlete, maybe you're a sprinter, maybe you are, doing some kind of team sports, American football, basketball, soccer, whatever. I mean, those are different goals, and of course, then you probably have a coach, especially if you're aiming for pro level or at least semi-pro level. But once again, we are each and everyone is an individual, and we each have different sets and goals, and we need to adjust our supplementary use as well as diet and other things accordingly. So you have to once again think about, do you have a budget? I mean, if you're a student and you're just lifting for some, I don't know, whatever sake, and maybe twice a week, and you're not so serious, you just want to stay in shape or whatever, maybe that's not their number one priority to put your money in your supplements. Then again, if you want to get some serious results with your and make some real gains with your training, and you maybe want to compete, maybe you're a little bit older like I'm already, maybe in that sense you could really budget some supplementary use. But first and foremost, eat enough, rest enough, and do have a consistent workout routine. Basically, you should have a program, whatever your goal is. And those are the number one things. I would always say workout and rest comes first, food comes next, and only then would come these other things, be it massage or, other methods of recovery, including supplements. So, majoring the majors, not minors, as a coach could say. Now, I think that's pretty much everything I have to say about this very topic. Once again, I want to emphasize the fact I'm not an expert, so don't ask me anything too complicated, because I would just point you a different direction. It's not my point to make videos that go very deep. I'm only talking about my experience and my personal goals and achievements, whatever they might be, including whatever I eat and whatever I use as supplements and all that stuff. And now, once again, if you, of course, have questions which I can answer, I will do that later on with workout videos. Now, talk over. I will just include a couple of deadlifts from various sessions in the end, and I hope they will inspire you to be in good shape, strong, and more importantly, stay healthy. Meanwhile, take care and see you soon with more videos coming your way. Alright, here is my week ago lift with 20.5 kilos for some few reps. To be honest, I wasn't really satisfied with this one because I had previously done some 230, and as it goes, I did 235 only a week later. So this kind of clearly shows that not every week is similar in terms of power and recovery and all that stuff. But I wanted to include this because this 235 wasn't really included. And then in the end, I have this my one 1 rep max, 257.5 kilos. Only 2.5 kilos better than my previous one, but this was done after the heavy reps lift. So I guess something good comes when you lift.